What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews, doing some NBA player prop insights for you once again. I haven't had a chance to look at anything, so I'll be seeing it all for the first time. I'll let you know what my thoughts are, what I think looks good, what I think doesn't. Now, if that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Before we jump into the insights, the analysis, and all that good stuff, I've got to talk about what happened in that last video. That last video, I kind of took you through my process, showed you some of the tools, my thoughts, my insights. And I got to say, it was a good video. It felt good. The response was great. But in terms of betting, almost everything that I liked in that video lost. One of the worst betting days I've had in a really long time, and it's hard to explain. A lot of those picks, in my opinion, I thought they looked great. And I think a lot of people agreed with that. And then when I watched the games, nothing seemed to happen. It is the playoffs. Teams are making adjustments all the time. And I think my biggest takeaway from it all, it's like you can understand what happened, why it happened as much as you want. And I understand those things, but it's difficult to anticipate what's going to happen next. But we do our absolute best. We stay disciplined, and that's what we're doing today. So I'll take you through what my thoughts are. I've got a couple system plays in the Denver matchup that promise to run back from the last game. So we'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk about this first one. It is the Pacers versus the Cavaliers. Also, shout out to Props Madness. Best tool going around. If you're interested, 7-day free trial. Plus, you get 25% off if you use the code DAFT when you sign up. So the Pacers and the Cavs. This game is a little bit difficult to cap, in my opinion, because the last game was an absolute write-off. It was a massive blowout. The Cleveland Cavaliers didn't turn up. It was 80-39 at halftime, a 41-point margin. It tied the NBA playoff record for the largest halftime lead. The Pacers on fire. And what's crazy was the Cleveland Cavaliers, they ran a zone defense in game 3, disrupted the Pacers immensely. They had a 22-point win. They ran that same zone in game 4. The Pacers obviously game planned around it, and they busted that thing wide open and killed them with the perimeter shooting. Will the Cleveland Cavaliers run that zone again? I doubt it. So my first thought is maybe someone like a Tyrese Halliburton can get back to having some good games. He's struggled since they started implementing that zone and applying more pressure to him. Could this be the game where he breaks out? So my thought process here is like Hallie points, Hallie assists, potentially. But the best bet that I can give you for betting on the NBA playoffs is honestly to live bet. I've spoken to a lot of people who are doing what I'm doing and a lot of people who are just betting in general, and a lot of pregame bets, they suck because we don't know what the matchup looks like. We don't know what the defense is going to do. We don't know what the hell the rotations are going to be. But if you're watching the game live, I find a lot more people are winning that way when they're betting live. So Tyrese Halliburton, what I'm saying, somebody to watch. If this Cleveland team is not running a zone and everything is man-to-man and they're playing straight up the way that they did when they opened the series, then I think someone like a Tyrese Halliburton can have a strong game. His lines are relatively low. It could be a good bounce-back spot for him. We've got Donovan Mitchell. We don't know if Donovan Mitchell's going to play. I thought he rage quit after that game, refused to come out at halftime, but there is an injury there, so we'll see. Donovan Mitchell, his status being unclear, which makes it difficult to bet on anyone from Cleveland, really. So that makes it tough. Darius Garland had a strong showing late when it didn't matter, but it should give him some confidence. Second game back from injury now, Darius Garland. His points prop, that interests me. The assist prop, that interests me as well. If you assume the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be better in this game, Darius Garland props could be there too. Evan Mobley, extremely quiet game. Didn't really do anything until the second half when it was all too late. So I'm pretty sure the conversation he would have had was around aggressiveness, assertiveness, and getting things happening early. Can Evan Mobley bounce back to cover these lines? That I'm not too sure of. The sports books think so. So his line in the last game was 16.5. He absolutely sucked. Now his line in this game, 18.5. So the books probably expecting a big bounce back spot from here for Evan Mobley. I don't know if I'm willing to buy it. Similar to Jared Allen, he was awful. He had 2 points and 2 rebounds in 20 minutes in that last game. Worst game that he's played in a very long time. Could Jared Allen bounce back? He definitely could. He's had very strong scoring and rebounding games in this series. But again, 12.5, it's not very high now I think about it. His line in the last game was 13.5, 12.5 and 13.5 in the other game. So 12.5, we're seeing the lower end of Jared Allen's lines. I'd probably lean to his over, if I'm being honest with you. And that, like, it's very difficult because that last game, it's like, do you just erase that from your memory? Like, it's pretty insane. DeAndre Hunter, my thoughts on DeAndre Hunter is to bet his under. I had that as a lean to bet his under in the last game. I didn't take it. Of course, he goes under. But I want to wait to see what Donovan Mitchell's doing. If Donovan Mitchell's not going to play, DeAndre Hunter's line's going to go up, and I still think he goes under it. So I'm waiting on that news, and then I'll potentially bet DeAndre Hunter. Max Strus, he's had a decent series. The last game, he wasn't to blame. He didn't play his best, but he still made 3 3-pointers. He still covered his points line. Still got a lot of rebounds. Max Strus to get some boards over 5.5. Definitely something I might be interested in playing, because if he's going to see 30-plus minutes, Max Strus to get some boards, absolutely love that. In this series, he's probably getting about 7 rebounds per 30 minutes played. Line at 5.5. You're getting close to plus money for this as well. So Max Strus, that's one player that I want to dive in a little bit deeper to. So I'll probably have a look at Max. Outside of that, looking at the Pacers, I anticipated Pascal Siakam having a good game in the last one, but I expected Pascal to have a good game because Cleveland was playing that zone. Chances are they don't play that zone anymore, so I don't know if Pascal is going to have the same level of success. So for Pascal, had a great game. His line in the last game was 18.5. Had a great game. Now his line is 16.5. So the books are probably anticipating what I am, that he doesn't play as well as he does in the last game, which is quite interesting, right? Pascal has a good game. His line drops. Evan Mobley has a terrible game. His line goes up. Oh, man. It's a wild game that we're playing out here. But, yeah, for Pascal, I agree with the line going down from game to game. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. And I think this is another one if you bet it live. If you see Cleveland is implementing that zone, then Pascal's probably your guy. If they're not and they're playing straight up, Pascal unders, Tyrese Halliburton probably has a strong game. For Miles Turner, he's been pretty decent in all of these games, seeing volume, getting some minutes. Pretty consistent performance, really, for Miles Turner. Rebounding, he had one poor rebounding game in the blowout loss. In this game, we've got a 7.5-point spread. Cleveland are the favorites. I don't know if Miles Turner can get the rebounds here, but he should see more minutes. If he gets close to the 28 to 30 minutes that he had been seeing, then Miles Turner rebounds. That could be of interest. And then looking at these other guys, Nembhard's been a little bit quiet last couple of games. The question is, what's Nembhard normally doing? So he's great in the Bucks series. He was great at the start of this Cavs series. The last 2 games he's been pretty shite. But again, he struggled because of that zone defense. If that zone defense not going to be there, Nembhard probably comes out to play. Benedict Mathurin, strong scoring off the bench, gets ejected in the last game in the first minute. He only plays 1 minute and then gets ejected. So I don't know how to read Benedict Mathurin. TJ McConnell, he's also someone who benefits from that zone. In man coverage, he's probably going to struggle a little bit, but definitely one to watch. His assist line's at 3.5. He's had 7 and 8 assists in the last 2 games when Cleveland went heavy with that zone. So what I'm ultimately calling out here for the Pacers, guys, not to bet any of these guys early because we don't know what Cleveland are going to do. We don't know if Mitchell is playing. But if you're watching this game live, I honestly think there's opportunities here. And you can take note of this. If Cleveland are running a zone, Pascal Siakam should have a strong game. TJ McConnell should have a strong game. If they're going to play the traditional man coverage, then something like a Tyrese Halliburton should eat them alive in pick and rolls. So they're the things that you want to look out for. Watch the game live, and then you can make a call from there. But that's me explaining what's happened. So TJ, 2 strong games when they were running zone, 2 much slower games when they were running man coverage. So consider that. Let's talk about the Nuggets and the Thunder. So to be clear, from that Pacers-Cavs game, I'm waiting on a lot of news. The only bet I'm considering to take right now is Max Strus to get rebounds because I think he plays more minutes and he's rebounded quite well in blowout losses, in blowout wins, in close games. He's rebounded well in all of them. I don't think that stops. So next, we've got the Denver Nuggets versus the OKC Thunder. So the Thunder stole 2 games on the road, so they've got home court advantage again. We've got a 10.5-point spread here, which is huge. There's potential blowout here as well. The Nuggets could potentially bounce back, but they had their chance in their last game, and they screwed up. They were a much better team at closing out games. OKC has struggled with that, but Denver in that fourth quarter, they couldn't get it going. They gave up a lead. OKC won that fourth quarter by 11 points in that last game. So, yeah, there could be a potential blowout here when I think about game context. Nuggets, I'm not saying they've given up altogether, but they don't have home court advantage anymore. So that's kind of out of the way, but let's talk about it. SGA performed very well in the 2 home games already, 33 and 34. On the road, he has struggled. At home, does he get over 31? Well, I'll probably lean to the over, but it's not something I'm too interested in playing. The assist line, assist and rebounds for SGA have been a popular look for quite some time in this series. And it all depends on how the Thunder play their offense, but at the same time, SGA's line's a little bit high. We've got Jalen Williams. What's my thoughts on Jalen Williams? He sucked most of the games, to be honest. Sucked in both games at home. Blowout potential probably sucks again. 21.5, pretty high line. But at the same time, he just shot 2 for 13, had 10 points in the last game. Could there be a bounce back here for Jalen Williams? Potentially. Assists and rebounds, I've got no interest in that. We've got Chet Holmgren, lines at 15.5. He's only covered this once so far this series. And in that game, he took 19 shots. I don't see him taking 19 shots in this one. So my first thoughts are probably lean to the under there for Chet Holmgren. But the main player I would like to look at is his rebounds. Obviously, we took this last time at 9.5 rebounds. Got the Aaron Gordon matchup. Should see that matchup again and should see tons of rebound opportunities. He's covered this now in 3 straight games since the OKC Thunder made that switch to get Chet defending Aaron Gordon. The problem here is this line. It's 9.5 on Bet365. You could always run an alternate at 10. You might want to play Chet double-double, for example. Even though I don't love him to score the points, 10 points should be doable for someone like Chet. But, great matchup to getting some rebounds. I don't mind the rebound look here, so that could be one that I consider. Who else do we have? Isaiah Hartenstein. He killed me. I bet he's 10.5 points twice now in a row, and he sucked both times. Poor shooting. Now he's back at home. I'm not going to bet this, but chances are he goes over his points prop today. Rebounding the ball quite well in the last 2 games as well. A lot of rebound chances from him, despite defending Jokic. I think the safer play is this, 19.5 points and rebounds. They haven't moved the line. It's been at 19.5 in all the games this series, except for the first one. It was 18.5, but it's been at 19.5 in all the games, and he's still been managing to clear it. So hit rate bettors, this is the look. I don't hate it. He's going to get time. They need him out there for Jokic. He's got a good matchup to score some points. He's been getting the rebound opportunities. Potential blowout, yeah, there could be. But in the blowout where they won by 43 points, he still managed to have 14 points, 8 rebounds, covering his points and rebounds line. So, yeah, Isaiah Hartenstein, points and rebounds. It's a pretty square pick. I wouldn't say it's a safe pick, but, yeah, I think if you were to bet Isaiah Hartenstein points and rebounds, or if I was to bet Isaiah Hartenstein points and rebounds, if it loses, I don't think anyone's going to shit on me for it. It's a pretty low-risk play, even though the risk is actually the same, but everybody would look at this play and be like, yeah, it's not a bad one. Let's run it. It makes sense. We got Lou Dort, Alex Caruso. These guys are getting open looks, but can they make them? I have no interest in betting on them. We've got Aaron Wiggins over 7.5 points. He's someone that could see additional time in a blowout. Chances are he doesn't, though. It looks like even in the blowouts, he plays 15 minutes. At home, yeah, he could potentially cover Aaron Wiggins. Rebounding the ball quite well in some games, but not overly excited by that. And then we head over to the Denver Nuggets. And we've got Nikola Jokic, lines of 27.5, 27 in the last game. He's taking a lot of volume. 2 straight games where he's had 20-plus shot attempts. 3 out of the 4 games, he took 20-plus shot attempts. So Nikola Jokic to score some points, I'd lean to the over, but his shot percentage has been awful in this playoffs. OKC doing a good job defending him. He's also taking a lot more difficult shots than he normally would. He's more aggressive, so I guess the field goal percentage dip is expected, but I'd lean to the over. Not something I do want to play, but this is something that I need to play. I spoke about it last time, under 8.5 assists for Nikola Jokic, and he didn't get close to it once again, despite having 15 potential assists in that last game. I don't know. I feel like, have I got this too late? Potentially, but 8.5 is quite high. 15 potential assists, that's in the last game. That's the most potential assists he's had. Out of curiosity, when Nikola Jokic gets 15 potential assists or less, what's the assist rate look like? So he's had 15 potential assists in 40 games this season. He's only hit this line 15 out of 40. So a 62.5% hit rate to the under. So, and this is a really tough matchup. So head-to-head, so far in the playoffs, struggled in all games. In the regular season, it was different. He was getting it popping, but so far in the playoffs, hasn't been able to get it done. So Jokic under his assists, definitely a look for me. He had 6 assists in both games on the road in OKC. And that's purely because in this series, he's taking 20-plus shot attempts. It's going to be difficult for him to get his assists. Rebound-wise, got no interest in that. The line is super high, but his assists, I lean to the under. His points, I lean to the over. I'm purely based on volume. Next, we've got Jamal Murray. I did lean to the under on his points and assists in the last game. That cashed, but Jamal Murray seems to bounce back very well. Matchup is tough on the road. But based on these trends, I'd probably lean to the over, but I'm not too excited to bet on Jamal Murray in this particular game. We've got Aaron Gordon, who's been one of my favorite players to watch so far in this playoffs. 15.5 points his line. I'm not interested in betting on his points, but his threes. I did lean to the over here, 1.5 threes. This was plus money in the last game. He finished with 3. He's covered this in every game this series. You're still getting it for pretty decent odds. The look here for Gordon is good because he's shooting threes off the dribble, which is good to see. He's obviously taking them when he's wide open. And with Chet Holmgren being the key defender on him, he's going to have some open looks. So Aaron Gordon to get over his 3-pointers made prop, I'll probably end up betting that. I do like it. I liked it last time, didn't take it. Hopefully this is another one where I'm not too late. Rebound-wise, crushed it. 16 boards, 6 assists. So another look is the rebounds and assists. 10.5 rebounds and assists is his line. It was 9.5 in the last game, 8.5 in the game before that. So unless the only game where he's gone under this was the 43-point blowout. Outside of that, Aaron Gordon's been clearing this line with ease. So the question is, do we think Denver can keep this competitive enough for Gordon to see some time and opportunities? And if we think so, then Aaron Gordon over his rebounds and assists is also another good look. So I'll probably do a value play, putting his 3-pointers made and his rebounds and assists together. I think that could be an interesting look, but we'll see. Christian Brown had a good game in the last game, but he's pretty difficult to predict. His usage rate is quite low, and he relies on others to get him his points. We've got Michael Porter Jr. I did like his under in the last game, and he absolutely sucked. Could this be a bounce-back spot now? Struggled in both games in OKC in this series. Had the one strong game. Lines at 11.5. His 3-point line's at 2.5, but juiced in the under. So the books are expecting him to make less than 3-pointers. And for someone who relies heavily on outside shooting, I think the under makes sense here for Michael Porter Jr. His line's at 0.5 assists now. So I think under on his points would be an interesting look. The rebounds, depending on how this game goes, if it's like another gritty defensive game, there could be a lot of rebounds available. So I wouldn't consider taking the under on his rebounds, but definitely under in the points for Michael Porter Jr. Definitely one that I'm thinking about. And then we've got Russell Westbrook. So he's really cooled off. He's had 2 pretty slow games. The last game was very aggressive, but he shot the ball terribly. Back in OKC, he's had 2 strong games in OKC in this series, but I don't know if that's enough to push me over the edge to want to bet it. They are daring him to shoot, and he has been, but he's not shooting very well. 25% from deep in Game 3, and then in Game 4, 22% from 3. And prior to that, he was shooting very well from deep. Someone like Russell Westbrook, it's highest highs and the lowest lows. So the lows may continue happening, which is sad to see. But yeah, that's just where my thoughts are. So obviously in this OKC Denver game, probably feel a little bit more confident around my bets. And that doesn't mean it makes them better. I just feel a little bit more confident because they're not switching the game plan too much. We know who's going to defend who. We know how they're going to defend Jokic, how they're going to defend SGA. Like, they're not making massive changes. Like the Knicks and the Celtics, they're making massive changes every game. Pacers, Cavs, they're making big changes from game to game. They're blowing each other out. They're taking turns with it. So whereas the Nuggets and the Thunder team, I think they both know what they're up against, which is why this series has probably been one of the better ones to watch. Quietly competitive, and they're kind of just throwing their stars at each other. I think I heard that the MVP race, the MVP is going to be announced before this game or something like that. So does that add extra spice and motivation? I'm going to assume here that SGA gets it, which does that encourage Jokic? I don't think so. He says he doesn't care about those awards. I think he's more focused on winning the game, but it'll be interesting. Interesting nonetheless. But yeah, so quite a few looks. I think so. Just to recap, in this Cavs game, I'm recapping for myself, really. I do like Max Strus over his rebounds. I am going to research that a little bit more. This Nuggets Thunder game, I think there's quite a bit of value. Chet rebounds, I'm unsure about that. I might run the double-double. Isaiah Hartenstein points and rebounds, I like it, but he just killed me the last 2 games. Chances are he hits it. He goes over today, but I'll probably avoid him. And who else we got from Denver? Jokic under his assists, I really like. Aaron Gordon's rebounds and assists, I do really like. Michael Porter Jr. under his points, I like. So could be a little bit of volume out there for me. I am looking for more opportunities to bet unders as well. So in this playoffs, that has definitely cashed a lot more than the overs. So I've got to face my fears here. I'm not afraid of betting unders. I just don't enjoy the experience. But I haven't enjoyed the experience of losing money either. So putting my feelings aside and just trying to make the smartest bets possible. We do what we do. I'm not going too hard throughout this playoffs anymore. I feel like I don't have the edge here despite all the hard work that I'm putting in. But at the same time, we've got WNBA coming up soon, and that's where I think I can find tremendous value, get some tricksy combos, and have a lot of fun with it, but we'll see. But that's a wrap on today's video. I do appreciate you guys for tapping in. I do apologize if my terrible insights from the last game led you the wrong way. But I can tell you this, if you did tell those, you thought those insights were great too. You were thinking just what I was thinking. And that's gambling sometimes. It was a tough day, looking to bounce back. I appreciate you all. I hope you're green out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. Let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.